Good morning. Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Johnson. Wow, our first one in December. It's the first day of December, and we've survived.
We have indeed.
Welcome. Good morning, Dr. Johnson. So this week we're going to have three topics ranging from today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we'll be talking about vulnerabilities, immune system vulnerabilities. You hear that big word a lot. And we want to put that in the context of how does one know the value, the power of knowing. How does one know? So Dr. Johnson, we hear about vulnerabilities a lot. What does that mean?
Well,
Who's vulnerable? Which immune systems are vulnerable?
Well, potentially, all of us are vulnerable to some degree.
Yes.
Some of us are genetically stronger, some of us less genetically strong. Vulnerability means that you're susceptible to something.
Yeah, that's a big English word. Come on, we're talking to Americans. Yes. What does susceptible mean?
It means vulnerable.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It means you can easily fall victim or fall prey to a certain problem.
Now you're making me have some liberal thoughts.
No. Well, that will never do.
Exactly.
That will not look good on you.
I know.
So I also sometimes call them ticking time bombs.
Okay.
All humans have certain ticking time bombs.
So there's nobody who's like healthy, right?
Well, sure, there are people that are healthy now, but they have ticking time bombs. So just for one example, cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in this country.
Yes.
And there are at least 15 different things that we know can contribute to cardiovascular disease.
So just because you feel good, you exercise, you eat well, do all of that, there is no real clarity that you are not vulnerable until you've done some measurement.
Until you've done some testing. Yes, exactly.
And done the measurement would then give you an indication whether you have those genetic time bombs or lifestyle time bombs that are coming your way.
Yes. For example, there's a blood test we do called homocysteine. Now, most Americans have never heard of homocysteine. Most mainstream doctors don't pay any attention to homocysteine. But if they did do the test and your reading is less than 15, they're going to tell you that go home, you're fine, your homocystine's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell my patients, no, you're not really fine until we've taken the steps necessary to get your homocysteine level down to 6 or below. So going from 15 down to 6 will reduce your future risk of heart attack and stroke by approximately 80%.
And why is it that most doctors, I thought they were really smart people, I mean like you, right? So why don't they know this stuff? We're supposed to call them experts.
Well, mainstream doctors
are not experts.
Typically did not pay much attention to cholesterol until the statin drugs were invented.
Okay, but hold on, Dr. Johnson. Cardiometabolic heart disease is the #1 killer in America.
Yes.
And we are not measuring the thing that is the #1 indicator.
Correct.
Significant risk for that. Why is that? And we call them experts?
Because there is no...
I should call them quacks.
There is no drug to treat high homocysteine.
There is no drug.
You can only treat it with mega doses of certain vitamins, okay?
Wow.
And so, with high cholesterol, when I was in medical school, we were taught that if you have high cholesterol, you need to look for an undiagnosed low thyroid condition, okay? But then the statin drugs were invented and the drug reps started calling on the doctors and convincing them, brainwashing them essentially, that statins are the answer.
Brainwashing, I like that. Is that what medical education has become?
Well, to a certain extent, that would be fair.
And then we produce these experts who are already brainwashed. They're like little slaves brainwashed. They've become marketing reps for the pharmaceutical industry.
So I guarantee you that if they ever discover a drug that treats homocysteine, all of a sudden all doctors will be paying attention to it.
Wow. But unfortunately, you said homocysteine can only be treated by a combination of nutrients.
Yes.
Tell us, what are those nutrients? Because homocysteine, and then we'll talk about how you measure homocysteine.
Okay. You have to have megadose vitamin B12, and it needs to be in the activated form, not the inactive
And what's
form.
the activated form of B12?
It's called methyl B12.
Methyl B12. But I thought that wasn't for everybody. I thought only certain people needed the activated form of B12.
Well, look, when we're young, when we're 20, 25, 30, we can activate it fairly efficiently. But
Yes.
as we grow older, we become less and less
So you're
efficient.
saying that everybody who's older, well, like us, should be on the activated form of B12?
If the testing shows they need it.
Okay.
Rarely I find a middle-aged or older adult who doesn't need to address a homocysteine issue, but the vast majority do, because
B12.
as we age, our homocysteine level creeps up.
Yes.
There can be a very powerful genetic disorder
Yes.
that causes even a 20-year-old to have high homocysteine,
Yeah.
but we don't see that terribly often.
Okay.
But
So that's B12. What else?
since the activated form works the best, that's the
That's-
form I'm going to give my patient.
Okay.
We need mega doses of vitamin B6, and again, we need the activated version, which is pyridoxine P5P.
All right.
Okay.
P5P, yes, we have a couple of those supplements here.
Yes.
So is it okay to just get the B complex or to
No,
get each
no.
individual B?
You
Because
won't-
I know the B vitamins are so critical.
Yes, yes. And then the third of the B vitamins is that we need activated folic acid, methyl tetrahydrofolate.
Yeah, well, I get the simple folate drops.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Right. So we've talked about B12, methyl form, B6, the activated form
Yes.
also, and B,
Then we need
the
some,
folate.
then we
That's
need,
the B3?
that's the three Bs.
Yes, okay.
And then we need something called trimethylglycine, TMG.
Yeah.
And then, when you're taking mega doses of individual B vitamins, you must also, along with that, take a high potency B complex to keep everything in balance.
balance,
But
yes.
just the B complex by itself is not
It's
potent.
not enough. Yeah, so those are separate Bs
Yeah.
plus. So there's the TMG, the three Bs plus the B complex.
Yes.
To balance everything.
Yes.
My God, just to hammer one nail, homocysteine.
Yes.
We go deep into the B world.
Five supplements to address one problem.
But why it's like we're all in this B world, this B vitamin.
Well, most people don't get enough B vitamins in their diet.
Good. So
And so treating this high homocysteine is a royal pain in the neck, because you've got to give 5 supplements. If that doesn't do the trick, I'm going to add one more. If that still doesn't do
what
the
is
trick,
that one more?
That one more is called methyl CPG.
Oh yes, we have all that stuff here, methyl CPG.
And then if that doesn't do the trick, we're going to add some taurine, which
So
is
I think one of the
amino acid.
yeah, I was thinking that you might have to start running some medical classes for all these doctors who are ignorant.
They won't come.
Oh wow, they love
they-
they
they-
make money from being ignorant.
They don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I had a cardiologist, this is a guy that I know, and let's see. He told one of my patients who was doing dramatically better with his heart,
Yeah.
he told him, "Congratulations, I never expected to see such improvement, that's fantastic." And the patient said, "Okay, would you like to know how this happened?"
Yes.
And he knew the patient was coming to me,
Yeah.
a holistic doctor.
Yeah.
And the cardiologist said, "No, I don't want to
Yeah.
hear it.
Okay.
They
wow.
don't want to hear it.
They didn't want to hear how the improvements
Didn't want to hear
actually
it.
arose.
Didn't want to hear it."
Wow, that's interesting.
Because it was done with holistic techniques,
things.
not with mainstream
So
drugs.
let's go back to this issue of vulnerability, because we hear it a lot in the press. So we hear that inflammation, or people with diabetes or people with obesity have higher vulnerability to infections from viruses.
Yes.
Why is that? What's going on?
Well, there seem to be several possible answers to that.
Yeah.
First of all, their body is so busy trying to deal with the diabetes or the heart disease or the obesity or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that it can't pay full attention
To the virus attack.
Yeah, to keeping the immune system strong. The other thing is they have these medical problems in the first place, in many cases, because of vitamin deficiencies, because of a terrible diet. And so if you've got a vitamin D3 deficiency, which most Americans do, if you've got a zinc deficiency, which most Americans do,
Yeah, I have some zinc here.
then your
Yes.
immune system can't do its job 100%.
So, okay, we look at inflammation as one of those big problems that actually is is normally part of the chronic illnesses,
Yes.
like heart disease, like diabetes, like all of this sickness.
Yes.
So you're saying that when, so people who have those illnesses or who've been diagnosed with those illnesses, is your recommendation that they need to make sure they take their medication, they take other things to actually put the
Sure.
conditions under control?
Clean up their diet.
Yes.
Make sure they're sleeping well, because that's
Yes.
very important for good immune function.
Yeah.
Make sure they're getting some moderate exercise. We don't want you out running marathons. That's
Yes.
actually bad for you. But
Yes.
moderate
I
exercise.
used to feel guilty that I didn't run marathons.
Well, I'm glad you survived that guilt.
Exactly. At least, thank you for saving me
Yeah.
from marathoning myself out.
Yeah. So then on top of the basics, we need to take our vitamin D3.
Yeah.
In my experience, we want to keep a high normal vitamin D level.
Okay.
And most adults have to take about 10,000 units per day to achieve that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sorry to interrupt that, Doc. So you're saying that if you have those chronic illnesses already, you need to do this diagnostics test frequently to see how well you're dealing
Yes.
with those nutrient deficiencies.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. On
Sure.
top of taking your medication.
Sure.
Right? You want to
Yes.
make sure you're supplementing appropriately.
Yes.
So there are no shortages on the nutrient side.
Yes.
That's what you're recommending.
Yes.
And that reduces your vulnerability then to potential virus or other
Colds,
attacks.
flus, COVID, whatever.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So there's also this whole issue about oxidative stress.
Okay.
What's oxidative stress? It's a big word.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope I'm not catching you like
no,
thinking
no.
I'm an American. How do I explain these big words?
Okay. Almost every American has heard they should take their antioxidants. Okay.
Exactly.
Humans are dependent on oxygen. Okay. If we don't have oxygen, we're dead within 4 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. So oxygen is critically important.
Yes.
Having said that, there is a downside to oxygen, and that is there are some free radicals
Yes.
that are created during our oxygen metabolism.
Yes.
A free radical is an unstable molecule that needs an electron to stabilize itself.
Yes.
So internally,
Could either be a positive or negative charge, right? It needs something else. Or a positive charge, it needs a negative
Yes,
charge to
yes.
balance it and stabilize it.
Yes,
If
yeah.
not, it just causes, it goes crazy.
yeah, so these free radicals, these little unstable molecules, bounce around the insides of our body like an insane pinball.
Actually, inside the cell.
Yeah,
Because when you
well-
say inside our body, I wanted to particularly.
But
Also,
it could also be inside the artery and damaging the wall of the artery.
exactly.
But yes, most
it's at the cellular level.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
because I'm trying to look at the impact of antioxidants.
Yes.
It's really in the mitochondrial cellular architecture to reduce oxidative stress.
Yes.
So how much antioxidants should we be taking, and how do I know I need to be taking antioxidants?
Well, if you're alive, if you're breathing oxygen, you need to take antioxidants.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an aside here. You know, there's research that just came out of Israel that says that the hyperbaric chamber, the oxygenated chamber,
Yes.
actually increases your lifespan.
Absolutely.
I know you are you have that in your
Yes.
clinic in the desert.
Yeah, hyperbaric oxygen lengthens telomeres, which is very important for long, healthy
Can you
life.
talk about telomeres? Because, hey, we're talking to Americans. They don't know what telomeres is.
Okay, we all know that we have DNA in our cells. We have strands of DNA. And just like a shoelace, the ends of the strands of DNA are protected with telomeres,
Yes.
okay? Just like your shoelace is protected with a little plastic cap on the end,
Yeah.
okay?
And that protection is for the copy, right?
Yes.
When we copy
Yes.
the DNA or we make copies of it,
Yes.
we protect the integrity of the information.
Yeah, and every time that DNA needs to be duplicated,
Yes.
we lose a little bit of our telomeres, so it's kind of wear and tear.
I
So,
call it like copying, when you make a copy of a
copy of a
document,
copy of
of
a
a
copy,
copy.
yes.
Yeah, like Karen is a copy of me. And you can see that in the production of the copy, it loses some of the essence of the original itself.
Yes, but it gained a lot of beauty. So.
Yeah, you made her day already. So, okay, that's one. It increases...
Lengthens telomeres,
Yes.
which allows us to live a longer, healthier life.
Yes.
It repairs damaged DNA.
Wow.
And one of the problems with aging is we have something called senescent cells. So instead of
Another big word.
instead of the
No
word
wonder we call you guys experts.
instead of the word senescent, we might use the word senile. These
Senile
are
cells that are
cells
dead,
that are supposed to die,
die.
but they don't remember how
To die.
And
And
so
they just go playing soccer.
They just hang out. They just hang out, gumming up the works because
And they're very dangerous.
we need to clear this dead wood out. But senescent cells, we're not able to do that. Hyperbaric oxygen clears out senescent cells.
Wow.
So 3 of the major contributors to
Long life.
yeah. Plus, it very powerfully reduces inflammation. So there's actually 4.
So I read this research over the weekend. Somebody sent it to me, and I was saying, wow, that's what Dr. Johnson said. And they had taken these patients through about 4 treatments over a period of a month. And then they did all these measurements. And they said it was not only reversing, I mean, it was not slowing down aging. It was actually reversing.
Yes, yes.
And I was wondering, how far can you reverse my age? We could go back to 20?
Oh, not yet. We're not there yet. In the
I'm getting concerned because would you reverse my brain too? Because that would be a problem. I want to take my brain now and go back to 20.
Yes, we'll reverse your conservative brain and turn it liberal.
Yes, yes.
I'm not interested in that treatment. My daughter might want to go through the treatment and reverse her brain to become something structurally more useful.
Maybe.
Republican, yeah. So finally, one of the things that compromises our health a lot is the gut.
Yes.
And we know that the gut has close to almost 90–80% of the immune system. So how important is gut health in reducing vulnerability?
Well, gut health is critically important. And certainly that's one of the reasons we want to eat a healthy diet. That affects gut health.
Yeah.
Our exercise affects it, our sleeping patterns, our level of stress. We want to do stress reduction, keep our stress levels low, because all of those things, if they're not done properly, have an adverse effect on our gut and therefore on our immune system.
So it doesn't mean that you have to be vulnerable. Like you said, everyone is vulnerable.
To some degree.
To some degree.
Yes.
And therefore, we are all open to attack at any time.
Potentially, yes.
And therefore, that's why we label this talk the value and the power of knowing. So it's important that you know your inflammation signals, your oxidative stress, your gut health, to ensure that you do the right things to protect yourself, right? Isn't that the key issue?
Yes.
And this is not very expensive. Most of it.
Yeah.
Easy things like sleep.
Yes, yeah.
But we say easy.
And you're always going to do better with these things if you have a professional guiding you.
Oh, wow, yes.
If you don't...
Oh, I like the fact you didn't call it an expert. You said a professional. Yeah, it's very, very nice. It's almost like a very well put there, Doc, calling us professionals rather than experts. Because
well, I do my best.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You know what an expert is?
No.
An X is a has-been. A spurt is a drop of water under pressure.
That's an expert.
That's an expert, yes.
All right, so we're professionals, so you need a professional to help guide you.
Well, sure, you have to have some testing done. You
Yes.
have to have a professional that is familiar.
And it's
with
not
all
just
of
test anywhere, because we have to know whether you have homocysteine, whether you have LP little a,
Yes,
all
yes,
these
yes,
interesting new
yes.
biomarkers
Yes.
that most doctors don't even ask for.
Exactly.
Right? Remember when you were doing the thyroid testing, they don't even test for the free
T3.
free
Correct.
T3 that you were looking for.
Yeah.
They just give you the overall thyroid test
Yes.
without even going for the specifics that are necessary.
Exactly.
So what are we going to do? Do we need a revolution to go turn the brains of Americans so they start thinking rather than being afraid? What do you think we need?
That would be highly recommended. Now,
You and I would lead the revolution.
how possible that is another question.
No, because I'm black and you're white, if we led the revolution, they can't call us racist.
Ebony and ivory. Right?
Yes, they can't call us racist, even though my children call me a racist. Right. But,
No, they can't call us that.
yeah, because once
Yeah.
we are partners,
Yeah.
like we're now in conversations with Dr. Johnson, right?
Yeah.
This is the non-racist partners talking about your health and making sure that you stay healthy. Thank you for joining. Like us, love us. Oh, there's a question.
Yes, there's a question.
Yeah.
Didn't you say everyone's racist? So.
Say what?
Yeah, everyone is racist. That's why God made us of different colors. If God didn't want us to identify by race and culture, He would have created all of us looking in between white and black.
Sort of an olive.
Yeah, sort of
Yeah.
an olive.
Yeah.
But He thought, but some of us think we're smarter than God. He said, I'll make them of different colors and create some variety so we're not bored. Right? Imagine how boring it would be if everybody looked the same, especially with cosmetic surgery. So I am racist because I have preferences and I love who I love. Yes.
Are you talking to me?
I was answering the question. I didn't want to put the professional on the spot.
Got it. There was actually another question about when you were going into vitamin D. I think you said something about
High dose? What?
No,
A high dose vitamin D3.
no. You were talking about vitamin B,
Yes.
and then you said something
The
about
active forms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the question was, how do you know if you need that? Is it only through diagnostic?
Yes. Oh, the level. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very difficult for anyone to know that about themselves.
Correct.
Unless they've been to a professional and had some diagnostic testing done.
Yeah, you cannot just know it by waking up in the morning, oh, I know I need B12 extra. No. You have to do the testing by a professional lab, not a cheap lab, with your insurance. You have to come here and pay some real good money to get some good data, right? If you go to your cheap insurance places, they'll give you stupid data, and then you die, and then we can always collect on your insurance after you die, right? So be smart. There's value in knowing, then you can take action.
Right.
Right? Knowing your B levels, those very active Bs. I didn't know CPG, TMG, B3, B6, B12. Wow, all of them.
Yes.
I consume every day.
Good.
That
Good for
must be
you.
why my brain is so optimized.
I'm sure that's it.
And Republican.
And your liberal daughter keeps you honest.
Well, because
Yeah,
she doesn't take supplements enough.
I do.
So yes, her brain is kind of underdeveloped
Yeah.
because of
She,
that.
she's younger than you, so she doesn't need them quite as much.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for joining. Love us, like us, and we thank you for being part of Conversations again. And tomorrow,
And tell your friends
yeah, well, about us.
about watching these videos.
Thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Johnson,
Yes.
for that. And see you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.